There comes a moment in every believer's life when they realize they were chosen for something greater. It's not by accident or mere chance. It's by divine appointment. God, in His infinite wisdom, has a specific calling for each of us. He doesn't just choose us to live a quiet, ordinary life. No, He calls us to be vessels, tools in His hands, carrying His message, His love, and His power into the world. When God chooses you, it's not just about your present. It's about your future, the eternal impact you will have, and the transformation He wants to bring in you and through you. You might be wondering what it really means to be chosen by God. It's easy to think that being chosen means being perfect or already prepared, but the truth is, God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. He takes ordinary people, flawed and imperfect, and shapes them into His instruments for a divine purpose. The journey isn't always easy, but it is always filled with hope, transformation, and the strength to overcome any challenge. Today, I want to share with you 5 powerful things God does when He chooses you to be His vessel. These are the transformative actions that shape you, equip you, and ultimately send you out to fulfill His divine plan. From the moment you are chosen, your life takes on new meaning and direction. Your weaknesses are made strong in Him. Your purpose becomes clear, and you find yourself walking a path that is far beyond what you could have ever imagined. As we explore these 5 steps, remember this. God's calling is not just about what you do, but about who you become. It's about being transformed, equipped, and empowered to bring glory to His name. So, let's dive in and discover the incredible journey God has in store for you. 1. He transforms you from the inside out. When God chooses you to be His vessel, the first thing He does is transform you from the inside out. This transformation is not just about changing your actions or behavior. It's about a complete renewal of your heart and mind. In Romans 12, verse 2, the Bible tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This renewal isn't something you can do on your own. It's a work of the Holy Spirit. Think of the Apostle Paul. Before he became a powerful messenger of Christ, he was known as Saul, a persecutor of Christians. But when God chose him, He didn't just call him to a new task. He gave him a new heart, a new mind, and a new identity. Saul's transformation into Paul is one of the most striking examples of how God can take someone who is lost and make them into a powerful instrument for His glory. This inner transformation isn't always immediate, and it's not always easy. God works in our lives in ways that challenge us, refine us, and sometimes even break us, so He can build us back up in His image. When God chooses you, He begins to remove the old ways of thinking, the old habits, and the things that hold you back from fulfilling your purpose. He places a new vision in your heart, a vision aligned with His will. The beauty of this transformation is that it's not just about changing outward behavior. It's about a heart change that leads to lasting spiritual growth. God doesn't leave us the way He finds us. When He chooses you, He's not just calling you to a new life. He's calling you to a life that reflects His glory, His love, and His power. And it all starts with a radical transformation on the inside. 2. He equips you with His strength and power. When God chooses you to be His vessel, He doesn't leave you to carry out His purpose in your own strength. Instead, He equips you with His power, empowering you to do things you never thought possible. In Philippians 4, verse 13, Paul declares, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." This isn't just a motivational phrase. It's a reminder that our abilities and strength come from God, not from ourselves. Think about Gideon. When God called him to lead Israel against their enemies, he was anything but confident. In fact, Gideon doubted his abilities and saw himself as the least likely candidate. Yet, God didn't tell him to rely on his own strength. He promised to be with him. With God's strength, Gideon defeated the Midianites, not by his own might, but by God's power. The same is true for you. God doesn't call you to a task and then leave you to do it alone. He provides the strength and wisdom you need to accomplish His will. You may feel weak, unqualified, or overwhelmed by the challenges ahead, but remember, it's not about your abilities. It's about God working through you. This divine empowerment isn't just for big, dramatic moments. It's for every day. When you feel drained, uncertain, or inadequate, God's strength is available to you. He equips you with the spiritual resources you need to walk through life, Face trials and fulfill his calling. In your weakness, his strength shines brightest. And when you rely on his power, you can do things far beyond what you ever imagined. God chooses you, equips you, and strengthens you to carry out his divine purpose, no matter the obstacles that lie ahead. 3. He calls you to a higher purpose. When God chooses you to be his vessel, he calls you to something greater than yourself. This calling is not just about what you do, but about why you do it. God has a higher purpose for your life, one that goes beyond your personal dreams and ambitions. As we read in Jeremiah 29, verse 11, God declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." His purpose is always good and filled with hope. Take Esther as an example. She was a young Jewish woman who found herself in a place of power as the queen of Persia. At first, it might have seemed like a position of privilege, but God had placed her there for a divine purpose. When the Jews were threatened with destruction, Esther was called to risk her life and speak up for her people. Her story reminds us that God places us where we are for a reason. Likewise, when God calls you, he is inviting you to be part of his greater plan. This may not always be easy, and it may involve stepping out of your comfort zone, but it always leads to a life of purpose. God doesn't just choose you to fill a role. He calls you to carry out his will on earth, to bring his kingdom to life in the places he has placed you. When you accept this call, your life takes on new meaning. Every decision, every action, becomes an opportunity to fulfill his divine purpose. This higher calling is not just a task. It is a divine invitation to partner with God in something eternal. 4. He refines you through trials. One of the most powerful things God does when he chooses you is refine you through trials. The path of a vessel for God is not always easy. In fact, God often allows challenges and difficulties in our lives to purify us, making us more fit for his purpose. James 1 verses 2 to 4 encourages us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Look at the life of Joseph. He was chosen by God, but his journey was far from simple. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned unjustly, Joseph faced immense trials. Yet through each of these, God was shaping his character, teaching him patience, humility, and trust. By the time he was raised to power in Egypt, he was not just a leader, but a man of integrity, wisdom, and compassion, qualities that came from the trials he endured. God refines us in similar ways. He uses our struggles to teach us to rely on him, to grow in faith, and become more like Christ. These trials are not a punishment, but a process of spiritual growth. They shape our character, purify our hearts, and prepare us to fulfill our calling. When you're facing difficulty, it's easy to wonder why God is allowing it. But remember, he is using those moments to refine you, to make you stronger, and to prepare you for the purpose he's called you to. The trials you face today are preparing you for the greatness God has in store for your future. 5. He sends you out as his messenger. When God chooses you to be his vessel, he doesn't just transform you, equip you, or refine you for your own benefit. Ultimately, he sends you out to be his messenger to the world. This is a culmination of his work in your life, to use you as an instrument to spread his message of hope, salvation, and redemption. Jesus made this clear in Matthew 28, verses 19 to 20, when he gave his disciples a great commission. "Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations." Consider the story of the Apostle Paul. After his radical transformation on the road to Damascus, God didn't leave Paul in a comfortable, quiet place. Instead, he sent him out to preach the gospel to the Gentiles, despite the dangers and hardships Paul would face. God called him to go into uncharted territories, sharing the message of Jesus Christ and planting churches that would change the world. Likewise, when God chooses you, he sends you with a purpose. You may be called to a specific mission field, whether it's your family, your workplace, your community, or even distant nations. But wherever you go, you are called to be a witness for Christ, living out his love and sharing his truth with others. Being sent as his messenger doesn't always mean preaching from a pulpit. It can also mean showing love in practical ways, being a source of hope to those who are hurting, and living a life that reflects Christ's character. God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things when they are willing to be his vessels. When God calls you, he empowers you to go, to step out in faith and bring his light to a world that desperately needs it. You are not just chosen for yourself, but for others, to share the message of his love and truth. Conclusion: when God chooses you to be his vessel, he does more than simply call you to a task. He transforms, equips, refines, and sends you out to fulfill his divine purpose. Each step in this journey is filled with his grace, strength, and guidance. From the moment he chooses you, he begins a work that will shape you into the person he has called you to be. This transformation may not always be easy, but it is always purposeful. God's calling on your life is an invitation to live with eternal significance. It's not about being perfect or having it all together. It's about surrendering to his will and allowing him to work through you. Just as he took the unqualified, imperfect figures of the Bible and used them mightily, he will do the same with you. The key is to trust in his process, rely on his strength, and be obedient to his calling. So, as you walk through life, remember, God has chosen you for something greater. He has equipped you with everything you need, refined you through challenges, and now he is sending you out as a messenger of hope. Embrace your calling with courage and faith, knowing that the work God has started in you, he will bring to completion. You are his vessel, chosen for his glory. Step into the purpose he has for you, and watch as he uses you to change the world.